Hey guys, welcome to today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. You guys watching means a lot to me, especially since I'm still new to this hobby of rock tumbling, rock cutting, etc. And I'm probably going to feel that way for the next 20 years, to be honest. Uh, but the downside of that is you're not tuning into this channel for expert advice on how to tumble rocks. The upside is I have a lot of questions when I tumble, and I'm willing to experiment to learn the answers to those questions. Hopefully, I'm asking a lot of questions you have, and if you've turned into today's episode, then you clearly have the same question I have of can you tumble a stone into a shape? So, rotary tumble, I should say. I know with the vibratory tumbler, I've seen the results on those, and you can turn any stone into any shape. But specifically, I'm wondering about funky shapes with the inside curve. When I first started tumbling, or actually not tumbling, I didn't even have a tumbler at the time. When I first started working with rocks, tried to think of all kinds of different ways to polish rocks that I picked up. I tried hand polishing. I'd used a rotary tool. And then I got the system I have where you see now, a tile saw and I've modified a bench vise and put it in a homemade lapidary cabinet. And when I first started, I thought I'd get a stencil kit, and I thought I could use stuff like this in my stencils, which is why I bought this kit, and I thought it'd be fun. Problem is, though, with those inside shapes, like this on the curve, I can't polish that with my current system. I can't do any sort of inside curve. Eventually, I wanted a rock tumbler. I always knew I wanted a rock tumbler to polish rocks. I mean, it was just kind of obvious thing to do. And I thought, well, now that I have a rock tumbler and I am able to see what it does, instead of just me hand polishing stones, I thought, well, let's see what I can do. So today we are going to find out if those inside shapes, if the tumbler, if the tumbler is going to erase that end piece or round it off, make it disappear, or if it's going to just kind of get rid of these saw marks in here and make it all polished up and pretty, or what's going to happen with these things. So stick around to the end and we'll find out what the tumbler does. Something I haven't noted yet that I probably should have is that when I was choosing what rocks to put in the tumbler, I was choosing regular beach rocks. Now, these came from Pilgrim Haven Nature Preserve. And I wanted to choose regular beach rocks because that's typically what I hear of people doing in this area. You know, they're just hobby or, they just went on a family vacation and they went to, Lake Superior or wherever, and they picked up some rocks and they bought a rock tumbler to polish them up. So, and they're not going to get like super crazy experienced results out of it. So I just wanted to throw something in the tumbler that was a little more typical fare of what somebody along that line would throw in there, just to show that, you can polish up and just stuff you picked up off the beach. And also, not only that, but the stones would come out hard enough. Oh, let me get this. There we go. The stones would come out hard enough to make a decent shape. So, for a jewelry, if you're, a little more advanced and you like to make jewelry pieces, then these sort of things would come out great. Um, just random stuff off the beach. So I tried for a bunch of different shapes to kind of see what would work and what wouldn't work. Um, I tried the triangles because I was afraid the points were going to fall off or grind off and they were just going to kind of round off and turn into, something not so great. But so far it looks like all the triangles pretty much came out, and there's a bunch of different stones in here in a triangle shape. And they all seem to have maintained that point. There's a couple of unikites, I think, and I don't know what that is, but that's pretty cool. The stone's really cool. Probably my favorite of the batch. I got a couple little divots there or whatever, but yeah. And then, yep, here's a diamond. Same thing, it came through just fine. Now, I'm not the world's best with a saw, so, you got to give some grace there for the shape. um, And then, of course, the ones with the inside corners, I wanted to see how they would turn out. And definitely lost some off the points, which is to be expected. I had some saw marks. I was pretty heavy on saw marks on this one. I got a little grinding in there, and but the tumbler pretty much took those out too. If I had continued to let it run a little bit, that probably would have even erased those. But as it is, it's pretty cool jewelry pieces. I could hang them either way on a wrap them up and let them hang either way off of a pendant. But they're just fun. They're fun. So there's a couple of small fails in here. Oh, here's a couple of successes. Again, this is more of, I think, that stone here. So, but I was super curious about these. I thought when I made these, they were just going to plain disappear and turn into naught. But they survived. Not only survived, but they maintained their points. They didn't break through the tumble. So very happy, very pleased with the results. Definitely lets you know you can get pretty crazy with your tumbling. Something these rectangles didn't seem to turn out that great. Again, that might be just me on the saw. This one's kind of thin, so... but they kind of lost a little bit on the corners, I think. It didn't turn out all super cool and square like I wanted, but they're still going to be cool magnets or jewelry or whatever might be the case. Something, let me see here. Let me find all the round ones. Okay, here we go. These are definitely some failed hexagons I tried. I think they were meant to be hexagons. Again, take a grain of salt with the saw work, but definitely the edges came off a little too much, a little too rounded, which is kind of what I have, mostly what I expected when I started sawing these or trying to convert these over into a shape. I thought they would just round off, turn into circles, and they pretty much did. They're kind of like ugly circles now, especially that one. That one didn't turn out so cool on a shape, at least a symmetrical shape. Still a cool stone. And then, sorry about the camera fuzziness, but it's inevitable. The circles turned out great. I can't really have too much to complain about there. That looks like it might have been a hexagon attempt. But, yeah, the straight up circles, even just the fact that I was just using a tile saw and nothing really to cut a, perfect circle like a hole saw or anything, they turned out quite well. That almost looks like amygdaloidal basalt. Took a decent, I would say that's what it was, given that polish on it. I think I've also heard them called galaxy stones or whatever. Let's see. Oh, here's a fun one. I had started to draw on the pattern, and I had drawn on the stone this triangle, and then as I started to draw the straight line across, I realized the stone had a natural curve to it right there, and rather than just, running a saw through and taking that little bit of stone off, I decided to make another circle, kind of like a smiley face, and include it in the stone, and I guess it's polished. You can see a shine through there. Oop. Yeah, I guess that turned out alright. So yeah, it maintained that nice little round shape, and the corners didn't totally grind away, so very happy with that. It was kind of fun. A half symmetrical, then unique finish to take advantage of the stone's features. Not sure what I wanted that guy to be. Maybe when I go back through the footage, which you would be seeing now if I still have it, you'll know what it was intended to be, but didn't take a perfect polish, whatever this stone is. But still looks pretty cool. Here's another triangle I missed. So at the end of the day, can you tumble shapes in a rotary tumbler? I think the answer is there. I mean, these are just, like I said, just random rocks off the beach. This might be a piece of quartz. A little bit of a line through there. And they all came out into a decent shape. Of course, I made a bunch of cabs because You know, it's traditional. I know I can do them. I know I can use them in all my jewelry or as magnets or whatever I want. They turn out pretty cool. My chalet opened this Saturday, and a lot of people were drawn to just the rocks, and some were drawn straight to the magnets, and they're all fun. People enjoyed them, and quite a few people enjoyed them enough to take some home with them. So, oh, here's a beautiful square that came out of Unikite. Wow, that one's pretty cool. That side maybe not so much. I don't know. Again, rocks are a bit like art. Everybody has their favorites and their preferences and how they enjoy it. So, yeah, can't say it's not a winner because it might be for the next person. Let's get the rest of these cabs up here. Show you how they turned out. Yeah, that's some dude with a saw and a crappy hand. That being me, of course. That looks like it was a leftover on the end of a stone, maybe. Another Unikite. Oh, there they go. Running away on me. So very cool. Definitely going to wrap some of these up for jewelry. I'm going to need a ton of jewelry coming up here. Oh, one more square. And then I did throw a few saw scraps in there to just kind of keep the load, just to fill up the spaces a little bit. And I was trying to get something that would grind into those corners of those round pieces. So yeah, even the saw scrap. I love these things. I started selling these at the chalet. I have little baggies, and I think I sell them like $1 a bag, and you know, for a fill a baggie, and it's just a straight up dollar. And a lot of people love that. They go through and they pick these little stones, and they love it, and I'm happy with it. And maybe someday I'll turn them into earrings or rings or whatever. But when I get a minute to actually work on something that isn't pendants or beaded earrings, but. Yeah, very cool. So, at the end of the day, can you tumble a shape in the tumbler? Well, I would say yes. You can definitely tumble in a rotary tumbler a shape. Now, obviously, in a vibratory tumbler, you get a little less rounding and all that jazz. But yeah, if you have access to a tile saw and you feel like getting a little crazy and making some fun little shapes for magnets or whatever else that is you want to do. Maybe a faux chiclet, whatever might be the case. Yeah, go ahead, have some fun, experiment with it, and yeah, I can't complain with what I've got here. Regular beach rocks turned out great. I think the shapes added a little bit extra to the stone. I know some people like the natural stone shape, but yeah, they're fun, and I'm very happy with it, and I hope you are too. And if you got anything out of it and you enjoyed it, go ahead and hit that like button, and I will catch you in the next episode. Bye.